Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to be part of this broadcast today. As the events in Bamenda continue to unfold, I thought to come back to you today with our take on who did what in the events that led to the killing of at least 15 people in the city of Bamenda. Came to you yesterday with an indictment of what we believe led to the killings and precisely who carried out the killings. Coming up today, the Republic du Cameroon government has said, no, Amber Boys, referring to Ambazonia restoration fighters, carried out their killings. Meanwhile, for the first time, the media in La Republic du Cameroon, the most popular newspaper daily, the Guardian Post in English, comes out for the first time and acknowledge that government soldiers carried out the killings in Bamenda. I have just seen another paper, they call it Municipal Updates or something like that, also indicting the government of La Republique du Cameroon for carrying out the killings in Abango and Nacho Junction. But it is interesting that the chiefs in Bamenda coming out, they said, Amber Boys, ladies and gentlemen, carried out the killings in Bamenda. And it is also interesting what the human rights groups in Cameroon are saying. Precisely, the human rights group that is led by Barrister Ago Bala. I'm going to bring you updates on all these things. Please, good evening and welcome to the broadcast. If you are joining by way of the social media, Facebook precisely, we like to see the numbers jumping. I have a pack full of panelists today. Barrister Martin Thomas and will be joining. Comrade Sama Thomas will be here. Mike Fusi and Dr. Ngwambe, they will all be here to tell us what they think. And plus, eyewitness report from the events that happened in Bamenda, precisely at Nacho Junction. I will have an eyewitness who will be coming to this broadcast from ground zero right at that same junction. Please hit your share button. Do not touch your remote. I will be back. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in once more and good evening to NewsTalk, coming to you on this Tuesday, July the 18th in the year of our Lord 2023. I'd like to welcome those of you who are joining from Europe, from the continental USA, including Canada, and of course South America, including Mexico, and every Amber refugee out there. Tune in and watching from your neck of the hood. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Again, I come to you with very, very exciting and inspiring information about the events that took place in Bamenda Saturday and Sunday. Please, I'd like you to go ahead. If you are joining by the way of Facebook, hit your share button. Let us populate the platform. I will not wait to start. Right ahead, I will go ahead, bring you my monologue for tonight, and then after that I will bring in my panel where we discuss the events of the day. And after discussing the events of the day, I will then open the phone lines as usual to hear from you. Be you on ground zero, ground one, Europe, USA, wherever that you may be and accessing this broadcast, We want to take your calls today, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Saturday and Sunday's tragic events in Bamenda have once again exposed the dark underbelly of the Cameroonian government and its armed forces. Despite mounting evidence and numerous eyewitness accounts, the government shamelessly alleges through their governor and their defense ministry that the killings in Bamenda were carried out by Amazonian fighters, so they want the world to believe. This fabrication not only demonstrates a blatant disregard for truth and justice, but also serves as a stark reminder of the regime's complicity in perpetrating acts of violence against Amazonian citizens. Equally disheartening is the feeble response from the chiefs of Bamenda, who, instead of calling out these government-sponsored murders, choose to issue generalized condemnations, further betraying their duty to protect their own people from the aggressor. The government's press statement that separatist fighters are responsible for the horrific killings in Bamenda is a desperate attempt to deflect blame and avoid accountability. Eyewitness accounts, some of which I will be bringing to you during this program, supported by substantial evidence, unequivocally point to the Cameroon army as the perpetrators of these acts of slaughter in Bamenda. The government's hollow claims not only insult the intelligence of the international community, but also add insult to injury for the grieving families who have lost their loved ones at the hands of the occupational force. Eyewitness testimony is a crucial pillar of justice, bringing to light the harsh realities faced by the people of Bamenda. The consistent accounts from multiple witnesses and sources provide a chilling account of the Cameroon Army's brutal actions in Bamenda on Saturday and Sunday. These brave individuals have risked their lives to expose the truth, and their unwavering testimonies must not be dismissed or swept aside. Their accounts paint a haunting picture of a regime and its armed forces operating with impunity, terrorizing innocent civilians and sowing discord in the territory. The chiefs of Bamenda, as guardians of their communities, bear a heavy responsibility here to protect their people and uphold justice. However, their response to these atrocities in Bamenda has been deeply disappointing, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of boldly condemning the government's killings, the chiefs have opted for generalized condemnations, failing to hold the government and its authorities accountable for the deed. We recall that within the last 1 month, Cameroon soldiers burnt down homes and killed over 60 people in Big Babanki, among them the queen mother of that clan. Then in Boyo, same Cameroon army killed at least 10, with the rest of the population living in the bushes. These so-called chiefs and fawns, they kept silent, They remained silent. They said nothing about the pogroms in Babanki and Boyo. And now, finally, when they say something about the Bamenda killings, they say the solution is for Ambazonian fighters to lay down their arms and report to the DDRO centers. What a group of scumbags, a heartless set of people. They care less about the families that are weeping. They care less about these acts of impunity from the Cameroon military. All they care about is continuous whining and dining with the regime in Yaoundé. My word to every Ambazonian in Bamenda and to our restoration fighters in particular is this: stop those criminal accomplices. Stop those chiefs from stepping out anywhere in Bamenda on Thursday for any form of rally. And I challenge those criminal chiefs. Who are you rallying for? For the people of Bamenda? If you are rallying for the people of Bamenda, I hope you come out without the army and police behind you and see, ladies and gentlemen, if you will not be stoned by refusing to condemn the government's killings and choosing rather to indict Ambazonia freedom fighters. The chiefs not only betray the trust of their constituents, but also contribute to a culture of fear and impunity, allowing the circle of violence to persist while they wine and dine with the regime that sits in Yaoundé. They should be stoned. Everyone, including the international community, must stand in solidarity with the people of Bamenda and demand justice for the victims of these crimes, these government crimes. The Cameroonian government must be held accountable for its role in orchestrating these killings, and an independent investigation should be launched to uncover the truth here. Genuine efforts should be made to disarm and demilitarize the territory, fostering an environment where dialogue and peaceful resolution can flourish. The chiefs of Bamenda must realize the weight of their positions and publicly denounce the government's atrocities in unequivocal terms. They must act as advocates for justice and protectors of their people, taking a firm stand against government violence perpetrated by the government army or the Cameroon army. The allegations made by the Cameroonian government attempting to pin the blame for the tragic killings in Bamenda on Ambazonia restoration fighters or freedom fighters are an insult to the victims, their families, and the pursuit of truth and justice. The government's actions, coupled with the hypocrisy of the chiefs of Bamenda, only deepen the wounds inflicted upon the people of Bamenda. They should be stoned. Again, listen to the sound of my words of my mouth. Those chiefs should be stoned should they dare step out on Thursday for any rally in the city of Bamenda. And if they are not the cowards, that they are, let them step onto the streets of Bamenda without an army, and let's see if they return home alive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes this thing gets me really mad and my voice rises up before I even realizes it. But that is what this broadcast is all about, ladies and gentlemen. The effort by the colonial regime in Yaoundé and the chiefs in Bamenda, who should be fighting for the interest of their own people. Rather, they are trying to gang up to say that the killings in Nacho and Abango area were carried out by Ambazonia restoration fighters, when the evidence is so clear. Even for the first time, their own newspapers are reporting that government soldiers killed those people. And it's a shame that Agbobala's human rights group writes that the Abango victims were killed by Cameroon soldiers, but the 10 at Nacho Junction were killed by Amba fighters, and Agbobala's group cannot name one source or one eyewitness. They cannot. Ladies and gentlemen, we must all stand up against this nonsense that we see in that country. All right, I am being joined, ladies and gentlemen, by Comrade Martin Tumasang joining me from London. Comrade, it's been a while that you were here. Good to see you again, sir.
Okay, good evening, Comrade Chris, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. You have listened to my monologue there. Tell me if I got it wrong anywhere, please.
Generally, you got it right, Chris, but there is a point which we should make, and we should not shy to make it. When issues were coming up in Rwanda, people were seeing it.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Your microphone, the volume was pulled down and people were no longer hearing you. If you could just take it all over again, I don't know where people heard and what they didn't hear. Go on, please.
So can you hear me now?
You're okay. Go on. Yes, you are fine. Go on.
No, sorry. The point I was trying to make is, while there is no concrete evidence that boys or Ambazonian fighters were involved in the Nacho 10 massacre, but the consensus is getting on the ground that because La République keep massacring civilians and the international community is silent, there is reaching a point where they are start looking there will be an eye for an eye. Where if La République kills civilians, massacre them, the Amba people will not still be talking only Geneva Convention and all that and war crimes. They might take their destiny in their hands. That's what happens in Rwanda.
Wait, so this is the problem. This is the problem with the Geneva Convention. Cameroon is no signatory to that convention, and how does anyone even think that you can use it to indict them?
No, Cameroon doesn't need to be a signatory of the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention now is a part of customary international law. You don't need to sign customary international law. So far as those conventions have now over time become customary international law, it now everybody has to follow them. Customary international law is not a law that is based on signatory or is based on any convention. It is the law now. That is international customary law. It has everybody. Nobody can say I'm from Geneva Convention because I didn't sign it. That's not international law.
Well, we hope that our people take this into their own hands and make sure that these chiefs in Bamenda have no space to carry out any rally in the city. I'm sure you read their statement indicating that they are having a rally on the Thursday to protest the killings which they attribute to Ambazonia fighters.
Comrade Chris, we spoke to some chiefs. They don't even know about this communique that came out. It seems as if Lele Afrique is the guy that insisted on somebody in that chief thing to send out that communique. There was no consensus among the chiefs that chiefs have to go and protest. And what is alarming is they've been killing a lot of Ambazonian, Southern Cameroonians. No chief.
Comrade, but it is in the statement. It is in the statement signed by the chiefs. It is not coming from Lele Afrique's office. The statement communicating about their rally is coming from their own press statement put out yesterday.
Yeah, I'm making the point that it is the government that is pushing them to go and make that protest. And what is alarming is the killing of Southern Cameroonians, none of them is protesting. Now there is a massacre where out of 10, 8 homes, and everybody is going to protest. Even in France, the route is being arranged to go to the embassy about the killing of this. What is special about apart from the gramophones compared to the fact that to all the other massacres? Why have the Cameroonians, if it is one and indivisible, not gone to the embassy in France to protest when they've been killing other Southern Cameroonians? Why only this one? Because 8 out of 10 are francophones.
That is very interesting. I'm hearing it from you for the first time that Cameroonians, they call themselves, are going to protest at the French embassy. I don't know how suddenly this becomes important to them. I know there is a narrative out there that some of the people who have been killed are francophones. And I want to believe if they are going out to protest, they are going out essentially to say Ambazonians killed francophones. However, let me say this, we cannot vouch for the allegation that some of the people killed were francophones. I have seen a list of the people killed. I cannot sit here and tell who came from where. All I know is that it is difficult for anybody to pick the gun, go stand at a junction and detect francophones and kill francophones. It is not possible. Comrade Martin.
Yeah, but Comrade Chris, it's difficult to identify. But to be honest, if I carry a gun and enter Nkwen and put down 10 people, there may be 8 of them will be francophones. They know the areas where francophones are, so you don't identify. There might be collateral damage, but at the end, you know some areas. If you shoot, almost, it's like you go to Limbe. You can shoot perhaps in Limbe and you get more francophones than anglophones in some areas.
I don't want to believe that was the case, because that essentially says the shooters were Amba restoration fighters, whereas they were not. I spoke to an eyewitness, which I will be putting on the phone in a few minutes. I spoke to an eyewitness at that junction who saw when they arrived, saw what they did. They arrived in the white Hilux truck, began putting out some of the corpses they came with from that white Hilux trucks, and as they began to drop the corpses on the floor, on the road, others jumped out of the truck and began to shout at everyone to lie on the belly. Those who did not lie on the belly and began to run were the ones they shot. They were shooting indiscriminately. Now, while this was going on, another truck, this one clearly marked as a military truck, was standing at a corner at that junction. The moment they finished shooting, the military truck followed them away as if to give them a shield to get out of the area. I mean, if this is not clear enough, I mean, this is coming from an eyewitness, not hearsay information, an eyewitness at the scene. So the idea that to even think that this was coming from, and by the way, when did we see Amba fighters riding in trucks in the city? If you say they came in Okada, 2 or 3 or 4 of Okada machines, I would say, yeah, that is possible. But in trucks, and then followed by, trailed by a clearly marked military truck, that's not possible, of course. And again, their newspapers are reporting for the first time that the military, I saw that in the Guardian Post, yeah, I think yesterday, that the military slaughtered, I think they reported 14. I think the figures now are 15. That is what they are reporting. I just saw another newspaper coming from there, calling on the military as being responsible for the killings. Comrade, before I get back to you, let me get to Sama Thomas, who is here on the screen with us to get his take on this. Comrade Sama, good to have you again, sir. Tell us what you have learned about these killings.
Good afternoon, Comrade Chris, and good evening, Barrister Thomas. It's a pleasure meeting you again to sit and talk about the Southern Cameroon's problem and the gruesome killings that are going on in Bamenda. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. What I know took place in Bamenda is that La Republique Army is angry with La Republican citizens that are living in the Southern Cameroon, serving as their spies in the Southern Cameroons. They are saying that these guys are sending them to go and die at the battlefield. They are at the battlefield, dying there, and at the same time protecting them who are living in the quarters with us, and they are spying against us. Send them to go and die, saying that they are the ones who do not want Mr. Paul Biya to come to the negotiating table and causing them to go and die carelessly. So now that they are dying and their own citizens are part of the problem, they will kill Southern Cameroonians, all the same like they will kill their own citizens who do not want this war to end. Come to think of it, how can Southern Cameroonians or Ambazonian fighters, as they call us, be riding in trucks like you rightly said, Comrade Chris, with people ferried from where and to where, of which the whole city is manned by La Republique security men. So how do these people go where to go and carry these people to bring them to Nancho Junction to kill? So this argument cannot hold. All the people were ferried by La Republique soldiers to be killed alongside the guys whom they've killed earlier, to vent their anger against their own people. So it is not any Southern Cameroonian fighter who has done that job. But the question is, or the problem is, Southern Cameroonians have died enough, more than enough. We need to take our own problem or our own security into our hands. There is no civilian in Southern Cameroon. There is no soldier in Southern Cameroon. Every Southern Cameroonian is a fighter. If you do not defend yourself, you will die a careless die. And those guys who call themselves, like you call them chiefs, I call them thieves. More than 70,000 Southern Cameroonians have been killed. They've never condemned all this act of killing in the Southern Cameroons. What is so peculiar now in Nancho that they want to go and protest tomorrow? Are they going to protest because they want to please their master? the occupational system, or what is their protest about? In protesting, they are calling upon our people to lay down the few arms, if at all there is any, that they are holding, and go to if the chiefs know that they are sincere, they should lead the way to the so-called GDR centers for La Republique. La Republique knows that they themselves are combatant. So if they want us to surrender, they should lead the way to GDR center, sit there as our leaders, and we will follow them there to surrender. That will finally surrender because our leaders have surrendered. They've long surrendered though, but they should not force us to surrender. And just go and declare themselves that we are tired of these killings in the southern Cameroon, so want to be in the GDR center so as to be served. Because being their policies, they are not served the same system they support and are serving will turn around like they've done to their own citizens, southern Cameroon, and kill them.
Comrade Fosi, give us your take on this. What have you learned? What have you heard about the killings in Bamenda, is it Abango and Nacho Junction? We've seen the statement from the defense ministry, the statement from the chiefs. And what is your take on all of this?
It seems there's a problem with Comrade Fusi's system.
Okay, it appears like his volume was not turned on. Go on, Mike. You are all set.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was extending my greetings to our fellow viewers, and of course my co-panelists, Brother Tumasan and Honorable Sama Thomas. I was saying that I have no doubt whatsoever that this was done by La Republique du Cameroon, because it has their fingerprints all over it. And why do I say so? I say so because under normal circumstances, as La Republique du Cameroon would normally operate, if this were carried out by Ambazonian restoration fighters, at this moment that we speak, there will be a frantic search for those who did it. We all will agree with that. There will be a frantic search for those who did it. There is no effort out there to find out those who committed this crime, because those who committed the crime are well known and they are in-house in La Republique du Cameroon. That is why they are not looking for anybody, because they know who did it. That is how you know it. Under normal circumstances, when something like this happens, when it is clear that our ARS did it, La Republique will be digging into every house, burning houses in that vicinity. Remember what happened some time ago in Bamenda again? How many houses were burnt down when they were attacked in Bamenda? Has any house been burnt down as a result of this act? No, because they know who did this. And we have been told that when this incident happened, when the two trucks that were responsible for this were driving away, that a military truck was covering them behind. Will a military truck be covering Ambazonian restoration fighters after such a crime? Why? Why will a military truck be protecting a truck that has just killed innocent people if that were done by Ambazonian restoration fighters? That leaves me to believe that it is La Republique du Cameroon that is responsible. And look at the demeanor of the colonial governor. He comes out and what does he say? He calls for calm. He does not say we are going to pursue those who committed this crime. He didn't make any such statement, did he? Except I didn't hear it. He never said they were going to look for those who committed this crime. Why? Because he knows who did it. That is how I think Pastor Thomas and I, you are a legal expert. I think I did very well as looking at the evidence, don't you think? I think I did very well. So that is how I come to my conclusion that La Republique is culpable for this crime. That is, and the verdict. I think my verdict is very strong. Now let's look at these. Let's look at these so-called funds. And you look at these people who always come out and make this statement. These are very little known people, very little known funds. These are not amongst those you really consider the funds in the northern zone. These are always some, in my area where I come from, these are called sub-chiefs or quarterheads. These are not really funds. But let me address what they sent out there. To these so-called funds, since you have sold out your honor, you have sold out your dignity, you have sold out your royalty, and you are now behaving like school children who can be summoned by a common DO to come and line up, and you come and line up like students at his office. You have now reduced yourself to simpletons. Since you have now no value for the lives of your subjects. You have no value for the lives of your subjects. You don't see them as those to be protected. Your subjects are being slaughtered every day, and you don't see anything wrong with that. Since you have now become commoners and you want to be treated like simpletons, and you have sold your culture and your dignity and everything. Now, this is what I have to tell them. Before you come out to march, I want all of you to go into your various Ngumba houses, if at all you have them. Go to your Ngumba houses, right? Make sure you get the best mungang that can protect you against popcorn. You know, popcorn, if you don't know what popcorns are, popcorns tear apart armor cars. So before you come out to march, make sure that your mungang it is strong enough to withstand popcorn, because when that thing pops, you will be nowhere to be found. So protect yourself very well before you come out to march on the street. That's my message to them. It's an advice, of course. They can take it or they can leave it. Since you have now reduced yourself to just commoners to be ordered around or to go out and march on the street. I mean, when have you ever heard that funds come out and march on the street? By Satumata and Albert Sama Thomas, you are all from areas where you have notable funds. Have you ever seen a fund in his royalty coming out on the street to march like a commoner? When has that ever happened? So it is time, I think it is time for these people to feel the same pain that their subjects have been feeling for quite some time now. If they choose to come out on the street, they should be made to taste the same pain and suffering that their subjects have been feeling for the past 7 years. We should have no regard for, if you decide to make yourself a commoner, then you should be treated as a commoner. That is it. So you can imagine, for example, let me take, for example, my fund. You imagine His Royal Highness, the fund of Bafut, and I see him coming out on the street with all of his royalty and his regalia to demonstrate on the street. What a sacrilege! Because some colonial administrator told him to do that, and you expect me after that to go out and bow down to him and say mbe after he has disgraced me so much? No, God forbid, Comrade Chris, that cannot happen, and that should not happen. So those who choose to come out to demonstrate whatever day they are picking to come out, well, you know what awaits you.
All right. I was going to ask your take on the different positions taken by different people in respect to these killings in Bamenda. Agboola came out with a press statement. He says the 5 who were killed at Abango were killed by Cameroon soldiers. And then for the 10 at Natural Junction, the press statement says they were killed by Amba fighters. That conflicting report there. Then the newspaper, the Guardian Post, says 14 Ambazonians. In other words, they combine everything, the 14, the Abango, the Natural Junction, and they said killed by Cameroon soldiers. Another paper, I just saw it, it said the same thing. But then the colonial governor comes out and says he wants calm to restore. And of course, as Barrister Thomas Sang has said, they want the chiefs to go out. They are asking the chiefs to go out and protest against Ambazonia fighters. In other words, Ambazonia fighters carried out the killings, and the chiefs are actually suggesting that Ambazonia fighters should lay down their arms and get over there to the DDRO center. Now, if people like this, if people like Agboola Human Rights Group, if people like the chiefs who should be protecting the interests of the people cannot stand up and speak truth to power, how many more deaths are we going to see? I mean, not just deaths, but massacre, genocide. Are we going to see? You guys, you recall, it's only a few weeks ago, 60 people were killed in Babanki. Those same chiefs, they said nothing. They crossed over to Boyo. The people in Boyo, they now live in the bushes. Those same chiefs, they've said nothing. And now the government coerces them to say, step out, say something about the killings in Bamenda, and also make sure you organize a rally to protest your own, to protest. It's unfathomable to even go ahead and complain this. It is painful to think about this, that the people who should be fighting for the population are being coerced to go out and do this. Comrades, if you were in Bamenda and those chiefs stepped out on Thursday to conduct a rally, what will you do? If I were there, I bet you, and even if they come with the chief, with the police, with the army, I will hide somewhere behind one of those story buildings and shoot them. I don't know what you would think there. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, who are you addressing now?
Any of you can take up Barrister Martin. Go ahead, please.
Comrade Chris, first of all, about the march, there is already a group arranged in Bunda who would come in there, they mix them with military, they wear civilian attire, traditional attires, and a big march. They will arrange their march. You cannot go and identify which chief was there, which chief was not there. It's all a public show. It's a gallery. They are just playing for the gallery. So they will bring a bus full of people. They've done that before. So we will see some march protected by the military. Even the people marching, although in traditional attire, will still be military. So I'm not too bothered about that march. But if anybody goes there,
but we can recognize our chiefs, isn't it? We don't think they are so stupid to think that they can just put those regalia on some people and get them to the street to rally as chiefs, because the chiefs know, we know them, and they know that too many that they cannot be recognized.
These are third class chiefs. Nobody knows them. If they name the chiefs, I cannot name one.
But shouldn't we stone anybody on the streets of Bamenda or Boya rallying in the name of chiefs, whether first class or third class or 10th class?
We don't know these chiefs. We don't know their names.
Chris, you are
so that's one of the things.
Do you need their names to know these are people who are accomplices to the killings of our own people?
Yes.
I'm saying that stones are very mild. I think we need to use something stronger than stones. We should need to use something more potent than stones. Stones will not do them much. They need to learn what these people who have been slaughtered have learned. This blood that has been flowing from ordinary people makes them feel like they are so indifferent to the suffering of their own very people. Maybe they should be made to feel the same thing. So using stone is not even. We will have popcorns waiting for them. Yes, if you feel that you now value La République du Cameroun and their colonial administrators more than your people, that you Your ancestors put you in there to protect them. Then maybe you need to be put down. Yes. They need to feel the same consequence.
On Agwabala is a guy who jumps into everything and start talking without reasoning. He is the same guy who said that it is not a genocide because Anglophones are running and going and hiding in La République du Cameroon. That's when I asked that where in the Geneva Convention did they, or wherever document did they, when defining genocide, did they talk about the location of people hiding from the same genocide? How can you use location of people hiding as a basis of determining genocide? So he talks something sometimes as if he doesn't have any intelligence. But the key point he's making here is that, okay, the 5 in Awinkwata in Bamenda were killed by the military and the 10 were killed by Amba. He is talking against the government. The government is in a very difficult position. The government is even scared to say that it's a revenge attack because their people will panic. And they can be copycat. If one person has done revenge attack, other fighters can do revenge attack. So the government is trying to downplay that aspect, to downplay the fact that there were Francophones inside there. Just try to mix it, it's just civilians. So the government is not even happy with Agwabala pushing that agenda too much, because government does not want the issue that, oh, these guys now have started retaliating. You kill civilians, I kill civilians. Anglophones killed, they kill Francophone. Government doesn't want that story. It doesn't want panic among Francophones in their own land and in our land. So Agwambala is contra mundum. He's talking against even his mentors. His handlers are not holding him well because he's talking almost against the government again that he purports to be supporting. So government is in the middle situation. He's blaming Amba that they carried it out, but he cannot say there were Francophones there. He cannot say it's revenge attack. He's just talking in generalities. He doesn't know what message to go about. He's trying to blame Amba but not explain the details. And then he talks about the 10 killed in Nacho. He's quiet. Government not made any position about the 5 killed in Winkwata. Are those ones in Winkwata not human beings? Why talking about the ones in Nacho? Are they considering that, okay, we killed the ones in Winkwata, but we don't know what happened in the ones in Nacho? Is that what they are saying? Why are they concentrating on the ones in Nacho? Have they made any statement about the killings in Winkwata? So I think there is some general confusion. Government, they must have carried it out using their special forces or whatever, but they are scared that people can misinterpret it as a revenge attack, which might cause panic, and it might make other fighters to do a copycat also. But from what I'm gathering, if La République should commit another massacre of civilians, there is a high possibility that there might be revenge attacks. So we should be careful. It's another Rwanda which is coming on its way. And people are making as if they are playing. There is no way every day you massacre hundreds and hundreds of civilians, and you think the other guy one day will not say why. Why is war crime not catching you? Why is Geneva Commission not catching you? If you do it, I'm gonna do it also. Within a short period, I believe my analysis is that we might come there. If government does not stop killing civilians, the only way to prevent a situation from Anglophone is for government to concentrate on Amba, stop killing civilians, because it is very close to where there will be revenge attack. I can see it. Mark my words as I'm saying it today, I see it coming, because they pushed it too much.
Comrades, to all of you there, I will start with Comrade Sama out there. Yesterday, Bishop Kia, the Archbishop of the Bamenda Catholic Diocese, was at the venue of the killings at the Nacho Junction. I'd like us to listen to him and listen to what he heard. Please.
This man has died. And when there is death, there is nothing like good news, because all of us are mourning. We are weeping. Within these past days, this last week, we lost 6 children in this quarter, and now again we have lost 10 people within this same quarter. And that is why I came out of my house to come here to this place where it happened a couple of hours ago, so that we pay our last respects to the people who are here. It's a very painful moment for all of us, and when the moment is hard and hot like this, we come out to bring consolation to the people. we come out to pray for the dead and to show that good will always triumph over evil. Evil can never defeat good, no matter how long it takes. So human life is sacred. And we all call on everyone, whoever they are, let us respect human life. Life is given to us by God. Let us leave God alone to be able to take it back. That is all that I came to join with the people of this quarter, to tell them Ashia and to bring them my solidarity, that we are together with them in prayers and in spirit.
Amen.
Story that led to this incident, which carries some xenophobic connotations at the time government fighting against xenophobia and hate speech. What do you say about this? I have always said that love is better than hatred. I've always said that life is better than death. I've always said that living and loving one another is better than killing one another. And so I don't want to go into what led to what or what did not lead to what, because no matter what led to what, it is not right to take the lives of other people. All of us standing here, including you, Mr. Journalist, who could have been the ones to die. And the people here were sitting here innocently, who were taken by bullets. I think it is high time that all this should stop. We want this thing to stop.
Amen.
Let people be able to go along with their normal lives again. And all this hate speech and all this, look at what happened in Rwanda. We don't want it here. All the things that have happened in Burundi, we don't want it here. We want our people to be able to live their normal lives. And that is why we say it is enough. Let this come to an end. We should stop killing one another. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Qu'est-ce qui vous a poussé vraiment de quitter votre maison aujourd'hui?
As Archbishop Nke there, he is now speaking in French, but I captured two things that he said there. I captured two things that he said there. Let the killings stop. Let what not happen. Let what happened in Rwanda not happen here. All the hate speech. I appreciate the fact that he made it to the scene. I think he is the only clergy who stepped out there to witness the venue and at least to make a statement. But he also comes across as to generalize the inability to say the people who shot down these innocent civilians, pointing to the army. No, he doesn't say it. If people like this cannot call the government and speak truth and power to the government, who then in the community should do so? Comrade Sama?
Thank you, Comrade Chris. I'm pissed off when I listened to Archbishop Nkea spoke the way he did, because Archbishop Nkea didn't get out of his cathedral to the scene when the first 6 were massacred. Archbishop Nkea only got out of his office or at the cathedral, which is just behind, I'm sure it's just behind the cathedral, when the 10 were killed. Does it mean the 10 that is purportedly Franco-Frogs, La Republic citizens, are more humans than Southern Cameroonians? That's why Bishop Nkea now left his office to go and condone with La Republican citizens, because humans have been touched. That's how I look at it. Southern Cameroonians that were killed were not humans. So, La Republican citizens that were killed by La Republican citizens were more humans than Southern Cameroonians. That is what removed Bishop Nkea from his chair. Bishop Nkea went there. Instead of saying that this thing should stop, let La Republique withdraw her soldiers from the Southern Cameroons, because He is sensing danger that what happens in Rwanda. I'm sorry to tell this to Bishop Kea. What took place in Rwanda was already in the making in Southern Cameroon. So over 70,000 Southern Cameroonians have been killed. And Bishop Kea has never walked out to the scene like he did this time around to condemn what La Republic is doing to the people of the Southern Cameroons. He didn't go to Babanki, where more people were killed than the number that was killed in Nancho. He didn't go to Boyo or in Wom, where much atrocity has been committed there. But he chose to go to Nancho only when Francophones have been killed, to go and tell us that he's calling for peace. Peace, I've told Bishop Kea, peace will never reign where there is injustice. Peace is now in Rwanda because justice has been done to the Hutus or the Tutsis. The people of the Southern Cameroon will never be at peace. So far as they are tormentors, so far as the people who took away their peace are still standing there, there will never be peace in Southern Cameroon until that day that La Republic and a person like Bishop Kea will be able to tell La Republic to Cameroon that enough is enough. Get your soldiers out of the Southern Cameroon for peace to return. These are a people that couldn't pick a stone and cast on someone's head yesterday. Today, these people have carried guns to be killing people with. Therefore, mean the worst of it is still to come. Let me go to Bara.
Hold on there, Comrade Sama. I'd like us to take a pause and listen to what these residents of that Natural Junction are telling the bishop in this video. Let's listen.
Okay, do one.
Yeah, they call you, they don't kill you. But they don't be captured. They don't
Actually, the people they bring a 1 man succeed. The 1 man succeed on the whole of the backside, then they find there's a amount they bring a 10 on a 9 remember the other one they don't have now. People around.
That means they plant something. The little countries around
them. Joseph Stable and then take the staff people everywhere.
They will cook whatever who are trying to have people that will work at the now where they can start to do people that will work at now what can be all for now.
Yes, they have to know 20 to get about two drivers, now 1 driver. So we need to fine, about 17. Just for one place, all to the inside that one part.
Because one water, that one made a great that. One we go for in the water, the notium. The commodity cover them at the need. We don't that.
That became a mistake.
Yeah.
But that became that's in a 6.
That time we go down to
maybe they fight. One road.
The first one we have seen for fun, and then I see the one.
No, last week.
No, just this week.
Only this week.
Last week beginning of the
They kill 6. If the first in 5, one sleep inside room, 2 sleep for veranda, then the other one sleep for door kitchen, so 1 sleep for front door. Then I want pass of backside all day open. When that backside all day open, so people also the wrong now. Now after that, when I hear nothing like
Comrades, we can hear what the audio is not, the audio quality is not very good enough, but you can hear what the eyewitnesses are saying there. 6 people were killed. They brought 4 in the truck, and while they were dumping the 4, they expected everybody to lie face down. And those who attempted to escape, they shot dead. That's what the people are telling the bishop there. I really wish I had my other witness I was trying to bring on. I cannot get him to get on the line. I guess it's a network problem. He witnessed everything. He saw when the white Hillock truck arrived, and when they started shooting, and when people started running. He told me 6 people were shot dead. The other 4, they brought them out of their truck. After they finished shooting, before they finished shooting, another truck, this one clearly marked as a military truck, came, stood a distance. The moment they finished shooting and were heading away, the other clearly marked military truck followed them, and they vanished. And the scene was over. That is what happened. But again, I think the bishop did a great job, at least to go there, stand at that location, and we're able to see the nature of the place, blood spills all over the place, and the people explaining to him exactly what they saw. If anybody was having any doubt that Cameroon soldiers did not carry out this act, this video where the people are telling the bishop what exactly transpired is clear evidence. Clear evidence. Let me get back to you, Comrade Martin. If you have a response to that.
Yeah, no, Comrade Chris, there is strong evidence that La République du Cameroon might have carried out this attack, or they did carry it. I'm not too worried about this one. I'm saying that the ingredients are ripe for a Rwanda situation to happen, considering the number of massacre of civilians. Before I saw the Archbishop, I was talking of Rwanda. He came and he's talking of Rwanda. The Archbishop, why did he not go to Awinkwata, where 6 of the people, where the other 5 were killed? Why did he not go to Awinkwata?
And Foreign Policy Magazine is warning the world of a Rwanda in Cameroon.
Yes.
Even before this,
so the evidence is clear. I'll keep saying it, and I'm repeating that if La République should carry out another massacre of civilians, the conditions are ripe for revenge attacks. So they should just stop to prevent the Rwanda situation from happening. If they try again, to be honest, the way they are going, the blood which will flow would overflow the banks of the Tigris and the Euphrates. If La République continue killing these massacring civilians, the other side sooner or later would also start revenging. And once it starts, you can't stop it again. This fight started 7 years ago. They should have prevented this fight from starting. Now it starts, nobody can end it. If revenge attacks should start in the future, they've not started now. But the conditions are right for Rwanda. If they allow it to start, nobody can stop it anymore. So La République should stop the massacring of Amazonian civilians, because it will bring in a Rwanda situation here. Because people will start, the fighters will start saying, you keep killing our civilians, we'll go after your civilians. And that will be Rwanda. Please.
Comrade Mike, what do you have in mind?
We cannot hear you.
Your microphone has an issue. Okay.
Am I okay now?
Correct.
All right. As I said before, my verdict is clear that La République du Cameroon did this. And I gave my analysis, and that is it. Because you can hear even from the eyewitnesses stating exactly what happened. Where did the military truck come? Where did it come from to now escort the vehicle that is supposed to have been driven by Amber Boys? If that were the case, shouldn't they be pursuing the perpetrators instead of giving them safe passage? That is what should have happened. And as I said again, why is there no pursuit? Why is there no manhunt for those who carry out this crime? Until I see that, then I will know that these people are serious. I know maybe when they hear us ask this question, they may go out there and pretend as if they're doing something like that. But one thing I have to say here is, well, we can give Archbishop Nkia some credit for coming out and at least saying something. Where's the moderator of the Presbyterian Church? Where are the Baptists? Where are the Muslims? Why are they not coming out and voicing their concerns about what is happening here? And first of all, when you look at the pictures here, Comrade Chris and my co-panelists, when you look at the pictures here, one thing that stands out is the background. I was just looking at the background. This is not what Bamenda Town, I grew up in Bamenda Town. This is not what Bamenda Town used to look like. Look at the background, all dusty, just looking more like a shanty town. There's no road, it is all dirt road now, a town that used to be all tarred. The environment shows you the level of degradation, dilapidation of the environment. There is no upkeep of the town. Look at the people themselves. They don't look good. And that is what we are fighting against, or we're fighting to improve the situation of those on the ground. Just look at the environment. The Bamenda Town used to be a clean place, well paved. There was clean up every Saturday. Just look at the environment now. You can see misery everywhere. And all that we see every day is human blood being spilled. Now, let us look at what is happening here with Bishop Nkia's statement, which is so ambiguous, so uncommittal, not willing to say the right thing or call out wrongdoing. My question is this: when you hear Bishop Nkia, who is supposed to be representing Christ here on earth, my question to him is this: if Christ were to walk the face of the earth today and coming and standing in an environment like this where a serious crime has been committed and we know those who did it, will Christ speak the way Bishop Nkia is speaking? That is my question. What would Jesus say in this situation? That is what I'm asking. What would Jesus say if he were to walk the face of the earth and come and be an eyewitness to the violence that La Republique is meting on the people of the southern Cameroon and Tanzania? Will Jesus Christ behave the way these so-called men of God are behaving? That is the question I want every Christian or Muslim or whatever religion you are. Is your religious leader behaving the way Christ would have behaved? I don't think so. Because the thing is this: whenever there is violence, it is because someone is trying to oppress another person, or someone is trying to resist violence. That's the only situation where you find violence occurring. Someone is trying to take away someone else's right, or the other person is trying to resist that person taking away his or her rights. And when you want to resolve that matter, you don't say, oh, let's just allow for peace. No, you look at the root cause of the problem. Because once you solve the root cause of the violence, that violence will stop. And that root cause of the problem, when you engage in such a process, it is called seeking justice. You seek first justice, and then peace will follow. You don't put peace before justice, because when there's violence, it is as a result of the fact that someone is stepping on someone else's toes, and that person is crying out in pain. And if you want that person to stop crying in pain, you make sure that whatever leg is stepping on that person's toes is removed. Once that leg is removed, that person has no more need to cry out in pain. Simple. That is how you solve it. You don't come and somebody's crying out, you see somebody's leg stepping on another person's toe, and you say, well, I don't see that leg. I know the leg is there, but can you please just stop crying? Just stop crying. How do you expect that person to stop crying when that person is in pain? If you want that person to stop crying, let that leg that is stepping on his toes be removed, and that person will stop crying in pain. And sometimes when you are crying out in pain and the person is not willing, you shove that person away so you can get some relief and some peace. And that is exactly what is happening here, fellow Ambazonians. I don't know how people cannot understand this. The people of the southern Cameroons are peace-loving people. They are not a violent people. We never went out any day to attack the people of the Republic of Cameroon. We are only doing this to defend ourselves because they have been stepping on our toes for 60-something years now. And we have gotten to a point where the toes are becoming cancerous. The toes are becoming cancerous. And if we don't do something about it, we may die. And that is why we're in this situation right now. So Bishop Kia should be more forthcoming with his answers, with his statements, and call out evil like Jesus will do. That's what I have to say.
Comrade Sama, please, your take on this briefly, so we'll move on to the next subject.
Yes, like my other panelists have said, Bishop Kea should redirect his words, redirect his statements to La Republic, to let peace reign in the southern Cameroons by first of all praying and calling for justice to be done on our people. Secondly, all of us, I think all of us have heard one pastor in La Republic who said, les anglophones la coupe la tête, and the whole church burst out in tremendous joy that the spirit of Southern Cameroons should be killed in the church. That is exactly what happens in Rwanda. Rwanda, like Barrister Martin is saying, like Bishop Kia is saying, is so close, has been ongoing. It only matters that the other side that has been too dormant to act like La Republic should act, and Rwanda will be complimented. This is the time. Let La Republic Cameroon try it out again. We must not also forget there is an audio coming out from Bali that on Sunday or so during the Bali Market Day, over 30 people were arrested in Bali. We haven't seen or heard anything about the 30 arrested. We shouldn't remove our eyes from that particular event. For the 30 that was taken in Cambe some time ago, or the 40, we haven't heard of them. We haven't seen them. 30 now in Bali is now more than 5 days. We haven't heard, we haven't seen them or know where they are. We must not remove our eyes off this particular incident now. And the two that were taken away, the two women that were taken away, that were amongst the 6 killed in Nancho, we haven't heard anything about those ladies. We shouldn't remove our eyes off these incidences. Thank you.
Yep. You're right there, Comrade Simon. You're absolutely right.
Yes, about the 30 people disappearing in Bali. What are the details about that? Because I just haven't heard about it.
La Republic soldiers entered Bali Market on Saturday and kidnapped 30 persons there and took them away. Up till now, they haven't seen any of them or their whereabouts.
Chairman Mike Fusi, you have are you aware of that?
Yeah, you remember it's about how many months ago? Is it up to 2 months now? Some other months when those people were taken.
No, it's just a matter that it's just an incident that took place last Saturday. This one is just of recent, last Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not quite aware of that one, but that's not the first time. What about the 40 that were taken in Oku? Have they ever accounted for them? These girls who were taken with the other 5 boys that were killed, where are they? What's happening to them? And these things just happen, and people just drift away, and they forget as if these are not human lives. We don't know what's happening to these girls now. I know that, Comrade Chris, you remember the other time they took a bunch of girls to one school in Bali, and they were using them like sex slaves.
Right.
And people were recounting horror stories of these girls crying late in the night from these brutes. I have said before, and I'm going to say it again, that when you look at a lot of these guys that are sent into our territory now, it is not surprising that some of these guys are recruited from their prisons. Hardened criminals who are brought out, hurriedly trained, and then sent into Ambazonia. And when they come with the criminality that is already ingrained in their blood, they engage in all manner of crimes. They break into people's stores and loot them. They rape women. They kill indiscriminately. Serial killers, armed bandits, and they are sent in here, and they come and they cause mayhem on our people. That is what is happening. These are not normal soldiers, and the worst thing is that nobody calls them out for what they are doing. You have not seen a single La Republic Cameroon official come out and scold, just to scold them. Any of La Republic Cameroon criminal soldiers who engages in these crimes, they have not as much as scolded any of them. It's like saying, yes, we like what you're doing, do more of it. They're giving them thumbs up. Why is it that these people do these things? You don't hear a single statement. You don't hear that, not from their colonial governor, not from the DO, not even from the so-called fronts and chiefs. They don't say anything. Even the religious officials don't say anything. Everybody is so, I don't know if they're afraid or what, but nobody is saying anything when all these crimes are happening. And like Pastor Tumasa was saying, I think Ambazonians are getting to a point where they cannot take this any longer. And when they know that when we finally rise up against their people, it will not be easy. Let them continue.
That's a good point.
When our people's backs are finally against the wall and they want to fight back, all hell will break loose. All hell will break loose. I think what has happened here in Bamenda may be the turning point in this struggle, where if this thing were to continue again, the reaction would not be dormancy as has been the case this far.
Well, I think much too many have happened already, because when you are talking about 60 people in Babanki, about 10 to 15 in Boyo or Bello, you also talking about 5 or 6 in Ekona, and then we're talking about 15 within 12 hours in Bamenda. If this is not going to escalate that public uprising, I don't know what else is going. Are we going to wait until 50 people are slayed or 100 people are slayed on a single day before our people can take to the streets and say enough is enough? Now we know that La Republique du Cameroon is escalating these killings, hoping that our people lay down their arms, get to the DDRO, we surrender, ground zero surrender. Let me ask the three of you, starting from Barrister Martin. Do you see these killings getting ground zero to say, you know what, how many more killings before we stop this? Have you heard that? Or you see a people who are determined to fight on?
Comrade Chris, La Republique is trying to use these killings to cow the population, to abandon the concept of Ambazonia and perhaps chase the fighters away. That's where when they kill somebody, they want to go and display in a square. They can kill you in Bafut. They killed we people in Bafut, even A4 them and the rest. They will display in the square. So it's not only killing. They kill people extrajudicially. You arrest people. You are not supposed to kill them. You have to try them. Even if you try them in the military tribunal, it doesn't care. It doesn't care Geneva Convention. It doesn't care anything. He catches you, he interrogates you, then he murders you, then he takes your carry-on, comes to the square and display it for the public, to frighten the public to abandon this concept of Ambazonia. That is what they are doing. That's why they are going for the soft targets of this population. Because if they keep killing these Ambas, the population know Amba are fighting. If you die, you die. But the public is what the killing civilians is what the public would rather say, no, we better give up. That's what they are looking for. So they are going for these soft targets on purpose. But I keep repeating that the point has reached, which is similar to Rwanda. If La République does another civilian massacre, I'm saying blood shall flow that will overflow the Tigris and Euphrates. If they continue this way, I can see it.
No, you are right. You are right, because listen, you kill somebody related to me, you think you appease me. You do not appease me. You only enrage me, and I will do what I will do to avenge it. Comrade Sama Thomas, what is your take on this? You think that this is going to get our people surrendering?
No, our people have reached a point of no return. Surrender will never be the answer. For surrender is just like a leopard or a cheetah in the bush surrendering to the lion, thinking that he can live in the same forest with the lion peacefully. It can never happen. The cheetah, to be served in the forest, must kill the calf of a lion so as not to multiply the number that is coming after it. And the people of Southern Cameroons have taken it for too long a time. Why the people who think that Southern Cameroonians are animals in the zoo and have been killing these animals in the zoo. If these animals in the zoo do not behave like cheetahs and leopard against the lion, I bet all of us will be dealt with. For the zoo and the lion will never live in the same forest with the cheetah and the leopard. So we will never surrender. The attitude on the ground is we will never surrender. Had it been that was to be the case, the people could have turned their backs on this struggle more than 2 years ago.
Comrade Mike, what is your take on this? Do you see this eventually getting our people to say, you know what, too many deaths, let's just bow out and get back living together with La République du Cameroon?
Comrade Chris, I think that's an illusion. If that's what La République is hoping for, then that's an illusion. Okay, let me ask this question. Let me paint this scenario. So what they are saying is that because they are killing so many people, people will just say, oh, well, since you have killed us so much, we are just going to accept to be your slaves forever. Since you have burned so many houses, okay, you win. We will just be your slaves forever. Since you have determined that you will not even listen to us to know what our grievances are, we will just succumb. We will just bow down to you so you can keep stepping, walking on our bodies, and we will just lie down and accept and do whatever you say. Everywhere we go, we have to say, pardon, madame. Everywhere we go, we have to say, pardon, chef. Despite the fact that your leadership structure has not indicated any reform that can bring meaningful change to improve the people's lives, we just have to accept it and let things go. I think it's just laughable for anyone to think that is the case. Because if that were the case, I think that we should have already stopped fighting, right? We should have already stopped fighting because they've been killing and the level of killing has been increasing. But I don't see anyone stop our resistance. On the contrary, I can assure you that in the days ahead, you will see that the bounce back of our fighters will be much more significant after this incident because everyone is pissed. People are really pissed at what is going on this time. Even people who previously were feeling kind of lukewarm are saying, no, this is unacceptable. And La Republic is going to see the results in the days ahead. Now, let me talk about another group that I'm really disappointed with. And these are the people of the so-called cultural associations. Cultural associations. While all this is going on, while all of this killing is going on, people are pretending to celebrate culture. There are some out there who are pretending to celebrate culture. And my question, what culture are you celebrating when your funds and chiefs have been turned into errand boys? What culture are you celebrating? What culture are you celebrating when your funds and chiefs are now being chosen by La Republic de Cameroon, as we saw somewhere in Gokutunja recently? Not once. Even in the southern zone, chiefs are now being picked by colonial deals. So what culture are you celebrating? The very culture itself is under attack, and you are celebrating. What are you celebrating? What culture are you celebrating when the very culture is under attack? Of what use is culture when human life, your own very existence, is threatened? How can you have culture without life? There has to be life before culture. So what culture are you celebrating? These so-called cultural associations are fast losing their relevance, and they ought to really rethink and redefine the purpose of their existence. Because when I look at the way some of these people are so oblivious of what is happening to their own people back at home, to the very epicenters of the culture, which are the palaces and the chiefdoms that are being destroyed. Your funds and chiefs are living as prisoners, but you are out there celebrating culture. What culture are you celebrating? Some even say, oh, we just want things to go back to normalcy. Normalcy? And my question is this: define normalcy. What do you mean by normalcy? I mean, you mean we just continue to be submissive to abuse and violence and exploitation and corruption and lack of basic necessities? Is that what you mean by normalcy? That we continue to go around like sheep to be turned left and right? Is that what you mean by normalcy? These people need to know that there is never going to be any time when, or anything like normalcy. There's never going to be anything like normalcy between us and La Republic of Cameroon, as long as the root cause of this problem is not looked at. They need to get this. Whether they can go out there and celebrate their culture, that is their problem. As long as the problem between Ambazonia and La Republic of Cameroon is not looked at and resolved, there can never be the kind of normalcy that they are hoping for. So if they want this thing to end, the quickest way to end it is to join and push so that La Republic of Cameroon comes to the table so that we sit and solve this problem. But if they are hoping that Ambazonia would simply roll over and accept to do whatever La Republic wants, they are dreaming, because that is not going to happen. Every conflict has always ended with the belligerent parties coming together, sitting down and having an agreement. And that is how this conflict is going to end. If La Republic thinks that they will kill their way into submission, or having Ambazonians submit to them, they are dreaming. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen when our people have been killed. Some are languishing in their dungeons as we speak. Thousands of them are sitting in jail, and they expect us to quit. And what is going to become of those people in their jails? What is going to happen to them? What about those who have died? Did they die in vain? And what are we going to say about the reason for this conflict? That's not going to happen.
Comrades, one of the motives behind these killings, we have been told, is to intimidate our people to make sure September schools reopen and everybody sends back the son or the daughter back to school. Here at the interim government, we have stated very clearly, schools that remain shut down will be shut down. With all this intimidation, the killings, why should any parent be sending a child to any institution where they can be shut down and killed with impunity, and the chiefs will come out and ask those students who do not know how to carry guns to report to the DDR centers? Comrade Sama Thomas, please.
Well, if that's La Republic's intention that the people of the Southern Cameroon should be intimidated to send their children to school, then I think that's a big mistake. For you cannot instill fear into the people, and the people are running into the bushes. You expect that because of that fear, you will push them to send their children to school. September, nobody, no parent in Southern Cameroon will endeavor to endanger the lives of their children to send them to some certain funny thing called schools, of which you know that just the next day you might send them to the next day you will go to collect the corpse of your child. It's not gonna happen. La Republic should be informed if you do not know this. Then secondly, on those guys in the Southern Cameroon who think that everything is normal, the so-called interquarters in Southern Cameroon, our boys should take note that any group of people caught playing football, calling it interquarters in Southern Cameroon, those are potential soldiers. Gather all of them, take them, go to the bush, and you train them there, bring them back to the war front, let them do the war. That thing the Southern Cameroon called interquarters must stop. We get you playing football in Southern Cameroon, that you are playing football for peace, you are a potential soldier the next moment if you do not stop it. But like you asked, if La Republic think that they're going to intimidate our people to send children to school, it's a big mistake. For they've instead driven our people away from the cities and where schools are, and they'll go to the bushes. Nobody's going to send his or her child to school. Like I've said, I still maintain the fact that the face of this war started as a result of La Republic putting the last nail on the coffin of our educational system. And no reforms have been made so far as that educational system is concerned. Our people, thousands of students are in prison, thousands of teachers are in prison. Before schools will reopen in the Southern Cameroon, all those students in prisons and teachers must, as a matter of fact, be released. If La Republic thinks that they can reopen schools in Southern Cameroon, then all in their dungeons must be released, or else even the so-called community schools and mission schools will be shut down come September.
All right, comrade, please stay put in there. Let me get the phone line open for Ground Zero. I would like to hear from our people out there in Bamenda. If you are watching and you have a contribution, especially to what happened in Nacho and Abanga, we would like to hear from you. If you are in Bamenda, or if your family was one of the victims, please give us a call, join the show, and let us know what you know. And make sure that before you call, the volume of your television set is turned down. Make sure that the volume of your television set is turned down before you go ahead and call. Please, the number is there on your screen. I am waiting to hear from you from Ground Zero. So please go ahead and call the lines that you find on the screen, and let us know what you saw, what you witnessed, or what you have heard in your neighborhood, especially if you are in Bamenda. Go ahead and call, please. All right, while we wait for the callers to come in, I would like to turn back to Barrister Tumasang to give us his opinion on this school subject. I've heard some people say, oh, you shut down school, you met the struggle before the international community. And I am asking, Ambazonia has been shut down for 7 years. Our people are killed like flies on the streets every day. Where is that international community? Would they only care only when schools are shut down? Barrister Martin, please.
Comrade Chris, nobody can care about the security of a student more than the parents. If the parents believe that a place is safe, let them send their children to school. They take their own risk. I cannot go and tell a parent, don't send your child to school or send. You are on the ground, you are weighing the security risk, you send. In many schools now, they are cleaning places, preparing for to go. I saw some Presbyterian schools being cleaned and all that on some videos. I heard that one, they sent some 7 people to go and reconstruct one school that had been abandoned and they've never come back. I don't know how true that is. That is some information I got. So the security situation is very bad. If you think it is safe, send your child. If you think it is not safe, keep your child at home. That's all I can say. I cannot tell the parent, don't send your child to school. You are taking the risk, that you know whether to send your child to school. If I had my child there, I would rather my child be alive than be risking his life because of education, or I send him elsewhere to go and study. That's my point.
Absolutely. Let's get to, I think we lost that caller. Go ahead and call back, please. Go ahead and call back. But Barrister Martin, you are absolutely correct. If people think that the security situation is good enough for them to send their children to school, let them do it. And if you are a school proprietor and you think that it is safe enough for you to open your doors, especially all those Presbyterian, Catholic, privileged, elite schools that think that they can just go on with normalcy when people are being killed and the security is so tense, hey, go ahead and do it. We have, again, I will not mince words here, we here at this interim government, we are aware of what is going on the ground, and we are warning every parent and every child, you send your child to any school that is not a community school. Again, even community schools, they have to think of the security of the children first before any other thing. So we are warning Ground Zero, do not compromise the safety and the security of your children. Comrade Mike, go on there, make a point.
Yes, Comrade Chris. And the one thing that people need to remember is that, first of all, Ambazonians are people who value their children's education. That is the one thing that they need to first take home. We value the education of our children. Even the Cameroon citizens, they know it. And that is why, even before this conflict broke out, they were sending their children to come and get education from our schools, because they know how good our educational system was. But unfortunately, as much as they appreciated the educational system, they started polluting the educational system, just watering down the thing. I think we all remember one lecture that was being given by a supposed lecturer in the University of Bamenda. I think it was supposed to be an economics lecture. We all remember. You could hardly understand what that guy was talking about. And that was supposed to be a university. So when a child sits in such a class, and at the end of the day, even if he's awarded a certificate, the certificate or the degree, what does it represent? That child will go out there and will not be able to perform. The thing is that we want the best for our children, and we want to be in control of the curriculum, the material that the children learn in schools. What La Republic of Cameroon is doing, we have heard of cases where children simply bribe their way through school. Even the so-called University of Yaoundé, where students just go there and they bribe their way through, they know nothing. And gone are those days when we have to send children to school to go and learn how to name the parts of a grasshopper, Comrade Chris. Today's educational system is a different one from the one we went through when we were growing up. It is more computerized. It is more, the study material is more applied knowledge. So it is knowledge that you can go out and apply, so that you train people who will come out and fit into the jobs of today. You cannot take that kind of archaic education of the 60s and you are teaching it now, their children to come out and find jobs where. First of all, we are supposed to be training job creators, manufacturers, innovators, engineers, people who will make the environment, they come out and create jobs, create companies, critical thinkers. And you send children to school and they come out and they're looking for a job to become a teacher or to become a nurse. That is all. What else do they do? Those are the only jobs available out there. Maybe some computer before, if they are lucky now. But where would they even use the computer system when you have no good internet? So we want to have a control of our educational system. That's why we are insisting that if you even want to send your child to school, send your child to a community school where we manage, we control the material that the children learn. We don't want these La Republic sponsored teachers who don't first of all have the mastery of the language coming in and just confusing our children in the name of teaching. It's not because we don't want our children to go to school. We want them to go to school, but to learn the right thing, to get the right knowledge. That is what we want our people to understand, Comrade Chris.
Thank you, sir. I think it was Comrade Samau earlier. No, I think you were the one who made mention of this cultural and development association that are becoming partners with a lot of people to Cameroon to scuttle the success of this struggle. We want Ambazonians to know where you find a cultural and development association talking about normalcy, those are enemies in the house. Those are enemies in the house. All those cultural and development associations, especially here in the diaspora, these are the accomplices who are working together with La République du Cameroon to initiate the killing of our people, such as we see in Bamenda. They want to jump home and take chieftaincy titles. They want to jump home and get contracts. They want to jump home and sit among the elite and be recognized, just recognition. We are taking note of these cultural and development association groups trying to scuttle the success of the struggle just for their own gain, But again, we can't allow that to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the phone line is there on your screen. Go ahead. We have just about 15 minutes to go. I will take your calls for the next 15 minutes. Go ahead, make your call. If you are on ground zero, especially in the city of Bamenda, I'd like to hear from you and know what you have learned from the shootings there, the killings there. Please go ahead and call. The number is right there on the screen. And if you are one of the victims, your family was one of the victims, please let us hear from you too and know how you are feeling and precisely what happened. All right. And as I said from the beginning of this show, we do not want to see the funds, so-called funds, on the streets of Bamenda on Thursday. We hope that the restoration fighters in Mezam, they take note of this appeal, that in no way, by no means, Should any chief in Bamenda want to step on the street, I read in their communique, they stated that they will be converging at city chemists to rally and march up station to the colonial governor's office. Again, you see them, stone them. Let me get this caller, please. All right. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. President, greetings, sir.
Greetings, sir. May I know where you are calling from, please?
I'm calling from Lakuma in Bamenda. In fact, I saw your missed call, and that is why I'm calling, actually.
All right. We are live on TV. You know we are live, is it?
No idea at all. Let me better go to the TV and tune. I didn't just have any idea you were on. Okay.
All right. I was trying to get to talk to your other colleague, but I didn't get him. I thought you would get across to him, let him know that I was trying to reach him. All right. I don't want to betray your secrecy. Thank you for the call.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I just get to maybe he could maybe try to call because he expected your call yesterday and did not get it.
Yes, I got him earlier before coming live today, but when I got live, I called back. I didn't get him. You can get to him and ask him to call if he is available.
All right, let me get to him. Let me just get to him. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, the phone line is there open. Go ahead. I see some people are trying to call and they couldn't get through. Go ahead and call, please. Go ahead and call. The line is open now. Let's see what some people are saying here. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. Okay. I guess you don't want to review precisely where you are. Go on, sir. What is on your mind?
Okay, sir. Like the macabre acts that are perpetrated on our people, it has become unbecoming. The number of people that are slaughtered on cold blood is alarming. And one of the biggest things that should be done is something should be done fast. And now, with the something to be done fast, I would suggest that our boys should be courageous enough. One of the biggest things to stop these things is for one or two of our boys to get to the closest opposite sides, and then they do the same thing. This thing will stop and it will draw the people closer or faster to the table or the referendum that we are clamoring for. So that's my suggestion, because it's just too much. If you count the number of people that are wasted within a twinkle of an eye, and it goes on Ground Zero every day.
All right. Thank you. I hear your concerns. Let's hope that our guys on the ground will be able to do that. Thank you for the call.
Thank you, sir.
All right. The line is open, ladies and gentlemen. The line is open. The line is open. Go ahead and call. All right, in the absence of any callers, I will give you Comrade Mike 1 minute to do your last pitch there before we call it a night.
Okay, Comrade Chris. Yes, it was a pleasure to share the platform again with Pastor Thomason and Mr. Thomas. I think our people have listened to what we have said. We have seen the consistent intention of La Republique du Cameroon to spill our blood, and they are not doing this They are not doing this because they like us. They are doing this because they hate us. These people have no regard for us. You remember, even when this conflict started, they called us what? They called us dogs and roaches and whatever derogatory name that they could think, they gave it to us. And that is what always happens prior to a genocide. What happens before a genocide is that the oppressor dehumanizes those that are to be victimized to a level where it becomes allowable for them to do what they want to do. That is what always predicates any act of genocide on a people. They give you names that will make you so less human that any violence against you is considered normal. So what we see now is something that has been in the works for quite some time. But the question is, like some people are saying, if we were not to resist now, what is the alternative? I want Amazonians to think about it. What is the alternative to us staying the course and making sure that we have justice? We are not asking for a favor. We are not asking for something to be given to us that is not ours. We are just asking for justice. That is it. That's all we're asking. Give us justice and we'll be satisfied. So this violence has been one-sided from the very onset. When we came out with peace plans, branches, and you name it, and we were mowed down like dogs, as they called us. And they said we were 2 cubes of sugar that they were going to dissolve us in 2 weeks. But here we are, 7 years after, still standing. And we will keep standing and standing until justice is done to us. So I want our people, as hard as this may be, I can assure you that the alternative to resistance will be much more terrible than what you see here. Because they will come into our communities and every male child of a certain age will be eliminated in order to remove the possibility of them ever rising up again. And in every community, there will be a military camp. From one place to the other, there will be checkpoints just everywhere. It will be an open prison, a police state like you've never seen before. So if you think things are bad now, the alternative will be worse. So I'm encouraging everyone, as bad as this may be, let us continue the resistance, because I see even within their own ranks, I hear there are rumblings now, infighting amongst La Republic officials themselves, because they are beginning to see that this thing is unsustainable. They themselves, cracks are beginning to occur amongst them. And that is why the succession of Paul Biya has been put on hold pending the outcome of this conflict, because they are afraid to give it to any other person. They are not sure that can handle this situation. They are putting their succession on hold. And how much longer can they put it on hold, given the fact that the Octogenarian General, Mr. Paul Biya, if he is still alive, can go at any time. So there's hope in the horizon for us, fellow Ambassadors. Let's just hold tight a little longer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Comrade Summer, please, 1 minute. Let's call it a night.
Yeah. I just want to tell our boys on the ground, not just our boys who are fighting in the bushes, but all Southern Cameroonians as a whole, that we have taken from the master for too long. And when a dog gets mad, it does not know its master again. It turns to bite even its master. The time has come that we must bite the master and bite him well, to run away and never to come back. They've propagated in their churches, in their radio and TV stations, that we should be killed. They've been doing that to us. It is now time for us to say enough is enough. Once one is touched in the Southern Cameroons, like the 30 that is still missing in Bali, we should kill them in their thousands that are still in the southern Cameroons. No more Christendom in our hearts. Let God wait. When we finish with this thing, we now turn to say we are sorry for what we did. But before saying sorry, we are liberated. I yield.
All right. All right. Comrade Tumasang, please go ahead, and if you have a last word for Ambazonia and appeal to Ambazonians, please go ahead and release it.
Comrade Chris, I will just end the evening by just mentioning 3 words: Rwanda, Rwanda, Rwanda. For La République to prevent the Rwanda situation, I'm begging them not to dare commit another civilian massacre. The conditions are right for Rwanda situation. If they do even one or more, things can escalate. So if they are intelligent, wisdom is better than silver and gold. If they are intelligent, they should never try to massacre civilians again en masse. That's what I'm telling them. If those who have ears, let them hear, because I can see what it's coming. It is very dangerous if they continue this. They are part of keep killing women and children, break into a house, kill 5 people, kidnap 2 girls and take as sex slaves. Those things, they're just leading to Rwanda. That's all I've said. I don't want to conclude any other conclusion.
Well, thank you, Comrade Martin, Summer, and Fusi for joining me the broadcast today. I hope the public gets the message. I like the way you ended that, Barrister Martin. Rwanda, 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 Rwanda. Within the past 3 weeks, Foreign Policy Magazine has invoked Rwanda happening in Cameroon. Archbishop Nke yesterday invoked Rwanda happening in Cameroon. And today you invoke Rwanda happening in Cameroon. Now I'm using that word to mean the 2 Cameroons. That is a warning that I hope that the people that lead policy in that country are hearing, and I hope they do something, rush to the dialogue negotiation table and say to Ambazonians, what can we do? What do you want? Of course, they know what we want, but I hope they will get to the table to see they can resolve this before Rwanda takes place in that country, because Ambazonians are not going to surrender. If they think that very soon we are going to surrender, no. We have our hands on the plow, and we are not turning back until we get that which we have been fighting for the past 7 years. Thank you very much for joining the broadcast. God bless you all, and good night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I look forward to coming back here maybe Friday or Monday. Please be safe and remain very, very strong out there. We are not laying down our tools. We will make sure that victory is ours at the end of the day. Good night, and God bless you all.